Hey everybody, Zach here with a quick tutorial on getting started with a Baofeng BF-F8 HP radio. Big thanks to my buddy Matt for loaning me his so I could make this video. Now this is not meant to be an all-encompassing tutorial, but rather a quick start guide to get you on the air. The manual for these radios is surprisingly well written. It's a great resource for digging deeper into the settings when you're ready to try more advanced things. Let's get started. So what we have here is a VHF UHF radio that gives out 7 or 8 watts on the high mode depending on which band you're on. Medium setting for power gives you 4 watts and low gives you 1 watt. The antenna connector, if you wish to buy an aftermarket antenna, you'll want an SMA female adapter or antenna end to make the fit. Let's start at the top. This knob here is your volume as well as the on switch. So if it's all the way to the left, it's clicked off. Click it right to go on. You'll see the menu or the opening screen. If you hold the monitor button here, it opens the squelch and you can adjust the volume to your liking. So if you push that button by itself just once, you'll get this neat LED light on the top. Push it twice, it'll start blinking. Push it again, and it goes off. Above that, you have the push to talk button, which is pretty self-explanatory. Push and hold while you're talking to transmit, release to receive. This call button here is kind of interesting. If you push it once, it gives you a FM broadcast band, which you can scan through pushing the scan button for 2 seconds, or you can shift frequencies up and down with the arrows here. Push it again to go off. Now if you push and hold this button, the radio enters an emergency mode and starts transmitting a siren and flashing all of its lights. And I guess theoretically it's so if you're lost somewhere and you fire that up, hopefully that's somebody that's good at direction finding, can maybe locate you and rescue you, theoretically, I suppose. So let's get started for the more used buttons here. This red guy is your VFO memory channel button. So if you look at the screen, you've got 2 frequencies up there. And right now it's in VFO mode, so all that means is that it's direct frequency entry. So for this top one, you're going to see, if you want to type a frequency, you can directly type it 146,520, or you can push the arrows to go up and down as well. That takes a lot longer, so I definitely suggest using the keypad just to type in the frequency you want. If you push this A and B button, that moves this little arrow here, and you can adjust the bottom frequency. And that's also the frequency you'll transmit on when you're pushing the push to talk. So if you want to push to talk on this, which is the VHF, you'd have it up there. Push that again, and you can do UHF, or this can also be a VHF frequency if you want. So if you push this VFO memory button, you'll get your memory channels, which we're not going to get into programming those today because they're very difficult to do. I guess for the beginner, and also when you're programming memories manually on this, you can't assign a name to them, so you'll still only see the frequency readout. I recommend the program Chirp and an appropriate programming cable if you want to do that. It's really easy, and it lets you actually put names to all your channels to make them easier to find. So that covers those two. Next, we've got this pound and lock key down here. That button, when you're pressing it momentarily, changes the power. So you can see we've got L up here for low power. If we push that pound key once, it goes up to high, which is 7 or 8 watts. It's 8 watts on VHF, 7 on UHF. Push it again, you get an M for medium. Push it again for low. If you push and hold this for 2 seconds, it locks the screen, so you don't have to worry about your buttons accidentally getting pushed if you're hiking around with your radio or whatever. That way you don't have to worry about it changing frequencies on you unexpectedly. So just push and hold that same button again to unlock it. If you like to start scanning, you can push and hold this scan key, and there you go. It starts scanning on your the frequency that your arrow's on. Push it again to stop. Now you'll see this S up here, and what that stands for is dual listen, I think, or dual watch. So what that means is that this radio is constantly monitoring back and forth between these two frequencies. It can't hear both at the same time because it's a single radio, but it switches back and forth, and if it hears something on either of these frequencies, it automatically moves that arrow to that frequency, so you can readily talk back for whoever you're trying to talk to if you hear somebody. So it's kind of nice, and it broadens up the range of receiving a little bit for this type of radio. So let's talk about VFO mode again a little bit here. So we're already in the VFO mode. We've got both frequencies shown up. Again, you can use the arrows to go up and down, or you can do an automatic or a direct frequency entry with the number pad. That's just about it for simplex operation. If you just want to talk radio to radio, that's really all you need. Now, if you want to talk on the repeaters, it gets a little bit more complicated, and you actually have to access the menu items. The way the menu works on this radio is you simply push it, and the little number here in the corner is going to tell you which menu item you're on. Now, there are about 40 menu options on this radio, so that's why it's good to reference the manual to find the menu options you want, but we're going to give you the shortcuts here today just to do the basics. So here, number 0 is the squelch option, right? So if you wanted to adjust the squelch, the default is 3 here. You would push menu again to adjust that setting, and then use the arrows up or down. 0 is wide open, so that means the radio will listen for everything. And I believe 9 is fully closed, so only the absolute strongest signals will come through. So once you've found the number you like, push menu again to select that, and then you'd push exit to go back a step. So I pushed menu twice, so we're adjusting this. Menu to save that, back to squelch. So now we can go back and forth in the menu, and so forth. So that's how you do that. So if you want to talk on a repeater, you're going to have to adjust a few things. So the repeater example that I'm going to use is from our local club here, and it's 146,700 for the repeater frequency. So 146,700. Okay. Now we want to go to menu number 13. So push menu and then type 13 to get straight there. So that's your transmit tone. So push menu again to change it, and we want 100 hertz for the PL tone, which it's already there, but you can use the arrows to go back and forth or off. So let's go back up to 100. Push menu again to confirm, and then you're back on the menu program. So it's set. So now when you transmit, it will transmit this tone, which is inaudible, but it allows the repeater to open up and actually listen to you. Otherwise you get locked out and the repeater won't repeat what you're trying to say. So we've got our tone set. So now what we need is your offset, because the way a repeater works is a repeater transmits out on this frequency 146,700. So that's what you're listening on. When you transmit, the repeater is listening to you on a 600 hertz or 600 kilohertz offset. So we need to set an offset and a direction. So according to the club's website, the offset is minus, and it's a standard offset. So on VHF, that's 600 kilohertz. UHF, a standard offset is 1 megahertz. So to set that, we're going to go to menu 26. 26, that's offset. Okay, so menu again. Now for VHF, it's 600. So 0, 0, 0, 600. Menu to set. And now it's set in. So now we need the shift direction. So let's go to 25. So that's only down one. So I'll use the arrow here, 25. So shift direction. Right now it says off. You're going to push menu to adjust, and then we're going to switch. There's the plus sign. We want the minus sign, so that's a minus offset. So menu to save that, and then exit back out of the window. And now you're ready. So now when you transmit, it's going to transmit on 146/100. That's minus 600 kilohertz. The repeater will listen to you because you've got the proper tone set, and then it'll retransmit and rebroadcast on 146/700, which is what everybody else is listening to. So that's basically it. If you wanted to save this, it's a little more advanced. Reference the manual and follow the directions step by step, and it'll work. But even on the memory channels, you'll still only see just the frequency, so you'll still kind of have to remember what frequency is for that repeater. Like I said before, it's way easier to use a programming cable in a computer because you can make names for the channels and make it much easier to come back to. So that's about it for getting started. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and post them below. I'll see if I can answer them time. Otherwise, I'll put some of the quick menu items in the description to make it easier for you guys. So, and that's all for today. Thank you for watching.